always
Hey
somebody
guys,
laying
welcome
down
back
like
to
a
another
pussy, I
Bobby
swear.
FPS video. Before we do really get into the topic of today's video, which is skill-based matchmaking again, I wanted to really just take a second and thank you guys for all the views and just all the comments on the last video. It's not something I'm really used to quite yet, so I really do appreciate if you did check out the channel and just, you know, had to hear what I was saying. A lot of you guys obviously don't know me, so don't think I'm being arrogant by any means. You guys are always entitled to your own opinions, comments, feedback, all that stuff down below. I won't get upset. At the end of the day, it is the internet and you are entitled to your own opinions. I just think let's just keep it, you know, somewhat adultish and let's just not insult anyone else and just keep it relatively clean. But anyway, all right, before we do kind of get into the video, I'm gonna put a little thing right above for the video that I'm talking about previously. If you haven't checked that out, I would check that out so you can kind of get some context, because we're going to be piggybacking off that video. Also, there's a lot of comments saying that I was maybe being a little harsh, and that's fair, I suppose, but there's also like two sides of the story. So basically, if you're on the lower bracket of this game, basically for the skill based matchmaking, they're basically two different games. I think when you're on that lower side of the bracket, the game is a lot more, well, first easier, but it's so much more casual and relaxed. When you are on the higher side of the bracket, the game is harder, or I wouldn't say even harder, but it's so repetitive. You're playing against the same 32 players, and I am being maybe a little bit dramatic when I say the same 32 players, but so many times I am playing against the same like 16 people, at least the top 16 players, because I obviously recognize them. And so that's what I'm saying is like I already know their movement, what they're going to be doing, and that's why it becomes repetitive, guys. I'm not just saying this because I want views or I'm trying to act like I know everything. I don't. But when I'm playing the same top 16 players all the time on the other team, it gets really annoying and frustrating. I want a new experience, just like all of you guys. A really great example is games that really strived without skill-based matchmaking. The two games that really come on top of the mind right now is going to be Halo, the Halo series in general, and then Call of Duty 4. Those games, you know, I was pretty young when Call of Duty 4 came out, but I played a lot of Halo 3 and Halo 4. Those games are fun. I mean, I remember getting my ass whooped, but it was really rewarding because there was no... The thing that really pisses me off, guys, and I'll be honest here, is just me knowing that there's, you know, code in the back that is already predetermining if I'm going to win the game or, you know, who I'm ready to play. Like, that's frustrating. Like, just have it based on ping, you know, like why am I not playing people around my area? I'm playing people on the West Coast, on East Coast. I'm playing people with 200 ping. Like, that's why I get frustrated, because the data says that they are equivalent to my level. I want to be playing people located near me. So that's how I know that there is some sort of SBMM in the game. And you can watch any, you know, quote unquote content creator or someone who makes videos for Delta Force. There is some sort of code being ran in the back and just determining your skill level. And that's why it's frustrating. Just think of, you know, Halo or, like I said, Call of Duty 4. They did very well and the game was refreshing because there wasn't anything in the background pulling strings. And that's like why I have such a hard time playing this game for so long, is because everything's already been predetermined if I win that gunfight or not, regardless. And maybe you guys even think that, or, you know, there's been quite a few situations you've ran into, you're like, you know, how did they know, stuff like that. It gets exhausting. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about is it does affect the player base. People who are sweating all the time, and like people, when I'm playing against high skill levels all the time in a casual video game, guys, I just get distracted. Like, I don't want to play the game anymore. My retention just disappears because it's so exhausting to play. I have to be locked in, 100% dialed in, sweating my ass off, right trying to compete and play the game. And that's why it becomes really frustrating. I think if there was a more... I mean, first of all, this is a casual video game. I wish they did it like, I think Rainbow Six Siege is kind of a good example, is you have your casual play, okay? Sure, there can be good players there, but I believe that the skill-based matchmaking on the casual side is off. There's nothing really determining. I think they might take in last MMR of last season. Like I said, I don't know for sure because I haven't played that game in such a long time. But then they have a ranked. Then you are competing. Like if I clicked ranked play, I'd be like, okay, I know I'm going to be playing against some sweaty people trying to improve. But when I am playing casual, well, I'm playing casual and I'm still, it feels like I'm playing ranked, and it's really hard for me to want to play that. And quite honestly, it does just create that frustration and burnout. If you do watch any content creator or streamer, it's basically the same thing over again, and they get annoyed because it's the same thing. It's the same. So there's just isn't a lot of variety because you're playing against sweaty people and you're playing against the same 16 people. Okay, and basically what I'm trying to say here is I understand that SBMM will never be a fair system or balance, but we could also, the developers should be taking our feedback in there, and if everyone, and not just me, is crying and arguing that it is ruining the game, you should listen to your community. So I don't think ideally, if they can't remove it, like, let's tune it. Instead of removing it entirely, let's find a more hybrid system that could maybe potentially be the solution. So allowing a broader mix of skill into, let's say, casual play, and then on ranked we are making that certain the player group a little bit more narrow. People who put up higher KDs, people who have a higher SBMM, stuff like that. We can narrow that into the ranked, but still at the end of the day, graded and ungraded are still the same thing. Regardless, you're still playing against the same players. It's just if you're playing graded, you are just getting the reward. So it makes no point not to play graded. The only counter to that is if you like to leave the game a lot in Alt F4, your level, I guess, or your graded level goes down because you left and you lose like 30 points and you only gain like 11 or 12 if you win. So that's just something to keep in mind. I really don't care for the rewards of the graded, but each to their own. But anyways, that's going to kind of wrap up the video. Obviously, you guys are all entitled to make your own comments, feedback, comment down below what you guys think. But at the end of the day, I just think we need a more tuned and balanced, and I don't want to be playing sweaty matches all the time. And I'm not just saying that so I'm like, oh, I can pub stomp everyone and just frag everyone out. It just, when I'm playing the same 16 people and I know what's going to happen every game, and it just becomes repetitive, and time is so limited now, and I know like most of you guys don't have all the time in the world to play. So when I play 2 hours or 2 to 5 hours a weekend, I don't want the games to always feel the same and me playing the same players. So just, that's something I wanted to, some food for thought, guys. You guys are always entitled to your own opinions. Comment down below. At the end of the day, thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and I will catch you guys another time.